Mr. Govardhan, if this were a politician, wouldn't the knives have been out? That's the point that Arun Jaitley makes. If this was A. Raja, Kannimodi, Suresh Kalmadi, and if Justice Ganguly was sitting in the judge's chair, he would have been hectoring these politicians, asking them to step down. Why should judges have a different standard of morality for themselves? Is that acceptable, sir?
There is no question of different standards. The standards have been provided, it has been provided in a statute as to how a president of a Human Rights Commission or anybody holding a post will be removed. So the issue is, you want to give man a bad name and hang him, so be it. But this is not.
But that's process. What about morality? Does morality have no meaning in Justice Ganguly's calculus?
No. Morality will arise only if a matter is proved. What has happened here is that even what Ms. Jaising is saying regarding the inquiry, that inquiry was an administrative inquiry done by the Supreme Court. All that their lordship said in that inquiry was that they found that the material disclosed by the girl has something as what the bench said.
Is that not enough reason for Justice Ganguly to take moral responsibility and step down? How can he cling on? It almost seems as if it's A. Raja or Suresh Kalmadi refusing to step aside.
You want to lynch somebody, then you lynch it, then you don't look for reason. But if you are in a country where we have a rule of law, then the due process of law must go. The man has denied. You must realize one thing, that the President of the Human Rights Commission has denied it.
Okay, Indira Jaising, this argument about the lynch mob, that if a mere charge is enough for someone to step down, tomorrow charges can be levelled against you, me, Mr. Govardhan or anybody else, and similarly we'll have a lynch mob out to ask us to step down. How do you respond to that argument?
Mr. Govardhan does not occupy a public position. He is a private lawyer.
Yes,
if any person who is a public servant indulges, against whom there's even an allegation, he is suspended. Tell Mr. Govardhan to go and read his Central Civil Service rules. There is a law relating to suspension of persons who occupy public offices. Please tell him not to interrupt me. Rahul, I don't want to come on your show if I'm going to be interrupted.
Mr. Govardhan, let's do this one by one so that both can be heard adequately and both get an opportunity to make their point. I'm coming back to you, Mr. Govardhan, in just a moment. Let Indira Jaising complete her argument.
Rahul, I think I've said what I want to say. I think Justice Ganguly's conduct is immoral. I think he's disgracing the Supreme Court of India. I think he's disgracing the West Bengal Human Rights Commission. I, for one, will raise my voice against it, regardless of what Mr. Govardhan says and regardless of what Mr. Justice Ganguly himself thinks about it. I will speak in the public domain according to my own moral standards.
Mr. Govardhan, what is at stake is much larger. Today is the first anniversary of the Delhi gang rape. Women across the country are looking at this broadcast. They look up to India's judiciary and they hope, sir, that the judges sitting in their cloaks will give them judgment, will give them justice. And when they see a judge, despite such serious charges being levelled against him, cling on in this brazen fashion to his chair, their faith in the judiciary itself as an institution comes into question, Mr. Govardhan.
Charge in the sense that there is no complaint made by the girl, there is nothing on record. It's all, now we are all in public domain because an article comes in a newspaper. We must understand one thing, if a man is guilty, you give him a chance to defend. The man has denied it. If a man has denied it, you are holding a position, you are a chief editor. If somebody makes a wild allegation against you and you deny it, then you should quit your job. Why? Because
Indira Jaising asked you a direct question, Mr. Govardhan. Are you okay if Justice Ganguly's videotape testimony before the Supreme Court committee is made public? Are you okay with that, sir?
No, why should it be in a public domain when the whole thing was done in a manner which befitted the committee? I think it's obviously not correct as to how that affidavit has come in the newspaper today. It's unfortunate.
Indira Jaising, do you think Justice Ganguly is missing?
You want to hang a man, hang him, but give him a fair trial. Instead of everybody lynching onto a man by saying he must resign, he is a Supreme Court judge, he should not have done it, a mere allegation is good enough. We have a statute. Otherwise, yes, let them change the law, let a new law be passed by the parliamentarians that if any allegation is made against anybody, be it your driver, be a photographer, be a judge, be
Indira
a
Jai Singh, do you think Justice Ganguly is missing the larger point that this is not just about him as an individual, this is also about the judiciary, the higher judiciary as an institution, and women, when they look up to the judges, if they see a judge cling on to his post, their faith in this institution comes into question.
That's right, Rahul. I think the way Justice Ganguly is behaving, people of this country will fast lose faith in the Supreme Court of India. It is my imperative duty to do whatever I can. I said it right in the beginning. I have confidence in the judiciary. I don't want to throw the baby out with the bath water. I want to make sure that the bad elements in the judiciary are thrown out, but the judiciary as an institution survives. And this is why I have chosen to go public on this issue. I think the judiciary has done a fantastic job by dealing with the issue up front without their washing their hands of it. And Mr. Govardhan should have the assurance that the petition of the Attorney General is still pending in the Supreme Court of India, and there will be people who will demand that the entire proceeding of the committee be made public. So
Indira Jai Singh, there are those who speak in favor of Justice Ganguly, who argue that this is a conspiracy because of the positions he took in the cases that he handled while he was a Supreme Court judge. There are many corporate and political interests that have been hurt. They suggest in hushed whispers that this is an attempt to besmirch his reputation and to try and pull him down because of what he did while he was a Supreme Court judge. This is what Justice Ganguly believes. This is those who speak on his behalf believe.
Right. Yes, can I just tell Justice Ganguly how different is he from Tarun Tejpal, who made the same argument? The point is, you can be very good in one domain and horrible in another domain. We can't live with these split personalities anymore. He is a man who was on the NGO circuit teaching other people about gender justice, training people on gender justice.
Amok.
How can he be elected in his personal life?
Made a statement before a magistrate under 164. And you know what that 164 means. Sure enough, that girl did make a statement there under 164. We have nothing here. It is all in here.
I'm going.
Okay, Indira Jai Singh, before I let you go, Indira Jai Singh, before we let you go, do you not think the next thing for this girl to do should be to come out and depose before a magistrate, file an official police complaint? Since you are in touch with this young lady, why doesn't she do this since you drew a parallel with the Tarun Tejpal case?
Rahul, I think this is a very, very unfair question. Delhi police are consulting their own lawyers and they will act according to the advice they give. I think it's very, very unfair to put the whole burden on this young girl. It is the Supreme Court who summoned her and she went pursuant to a summons. She's behaved very responsibly. She did not put his name in the public domain. It is the Supreme Court that put his name in the public domain. That's all I have to say to you, and you have to let me go now, Rahul.
All right. Thank you very much, Indira Jai Singh, for joining us on this broadcast. I have one final question, Mr. Govardhan, to you. You know, as someone who is speaking out for Justice Ganguly, do you not think, sir, that by clinging on to his position, he is risking the reputation of the entire higher judiciary?
No, I think
that when judges have to take a call and set standards for themselves, they set different standards for others and have completely different standards for themselves, Mr. Govardhan.
There are no, the question is not of different standard. The question is, please appreciate one thing, the allegation which has come and the manner of removal. It is so unfair that we, as I said, we have a rule of law. There is a method. Sure enough, if it is a proved misbehavior in a capacity as what the statute said, he would go after an inquiry. But you can't put a cart before the horse and let the whole world scream from the rooftop and say the man should go. Why should a man go?
Well,
yes,
you've heard.
I am not. Look, it's an. According to Justice Ganguly, I've only read through the papers. I'm not his counsel. I'm just going by what the press said. I'm just going on by what is happening. Is that the man has denied it. The fact is that if he has denied it, does he not have a right to defend himself? Are we not governed by a rule of law? Are we a banana republic? We have a rule of law. There is a statute upon which he was appointed as a chairperson. This statute provides the method and the manner in which he can go.
Okay, you've heard two differently argued points of view. It seems very clear that public opinion suggests that Justice Ganguly should step down. This is a clear case of morality, and his conscience must speak to him. So far, his conscience hasn't spoken. You've also heard Mr. Govardhan's point of view, which is that you can't level an allegation and force a man to step down. We don't take sides on headlines today. We leave it to you, our viewers, to decide where you stand on this issue.